Back to the 1855 project. I'd try to squeeze a little in here and there at least. I want to get the dash on so I can mount steering lines and other stuff. And I don't really want to break out the paint gun just to paint this bit. So I'm going to hit her with the old Rust-Oleum primer. You can leave me your opinions on using that in the comments. Hey look, it's gray. Oh, I'm gonna rattle can some more primer over here so I can get that dash mounted and then get the rest of these lines in place. And I'm thinking this long line, the cooler return line, probably be easier if that's in before the dash stuff gets set on. So now I gotta dig that up. Let's reseal this brake valve. They're actually quite reliable, enough so that I've never actually torn one down before. So this is a learning experience for me too. They're not terribly complicated. I looked up all the parts in the book to make sure, I had the seals. And as I was saying before I so rudely interrupted myself, they are quite reliable. Usually the biggest sin is that they leak. This one didn't look like it was leaking, but this is a restoration. We're not going to take that chance. There's a gasket here, and then there's O-rings in the housing where the brake shafts come through, the actuator valve things. And I'll probably go ahead and put new O-rings under these fittings. If they're not disturbed, generally they're not going to leak, but boy, I'd sure hate to get this thing all painted up and then have one of these spring a leak, especially since it's buried in the dash. Yeah, it says out right there. Oh, it even says Cessna on it. I kind of always assumed, and you know what that gets you, that this was something Oliver made in-house, but nope, there's a lot of stuff that they got from suppliers. Either the supplier had the part already, stuff like bolts, they ain't gonna make their own bolts. There's people that specialize in that. Maybe this brake valve was used on something else. Maybe it was designed specifically for Oliver. I do not know the answer to that one. But if they make it in-house, that's more labor. They have to provide in-house floor space, all that stuff. So sometimes they're farther ahead to go with a vendor to get some of this stuff made. Especially one that specializes in hydraulics and knows what they're doing. This cover's aluminum, so we want to be careful about knocking it too hard. I didn't bring a hammer, or did I? Point. Well, don't look terribly dirty. That's nice. There's a snap ring that popped off already. I think I'm missing a pin. Thought it was over and all that junk over there, but I might have to go robbing something off from a parts tractor because of my own carelessness. That should just do that. And boom. There's a couple springs there. I don't think there's any O-rings in there. I think there's just this one here. I'll double check the parts diagram. I've already rounded up all the seals, but it's been a while, and so, I've forgotten. Gotta love these ultra small snap rings. They're hard to get a hold of and easy to lose. Oop, it's just like that. It almost went flying. Now I should probably be, thoughtful about this and keep left and right separated, yes, just in case there's some kind of precision machining in here that will not match up if you cross the screens. But yeah, I can see down in here, there's the port. Oh, let's see, that's right side up. There's a port in there. As you pull the brake pedal, sends oil in. You let the pedal off, then the pressure can come back out and drain and come out through that cover. So must remember, I'm gonna make this mental note out loud. This side was up when these were laid out. I don't know if that's really critical, but it's just always a good idea to try to put things back where you found them. That O-ring pick won't quite get down in there, but this one will. If that O-ring wasn't bad before, it is now. But it's out. It's a little on the stiff side, so years of heat and everything. It probably wasn't much longer before it was going to start leaking. I'm betting this wrench is the wrong size. Correct. Looks like I need an 11/16. Oh, I need to make a video on using AGCO's website parts books, but it's AGCO parts or parts.agcocorp.com. Yeah, it just looks like it's the O-rings in the body and the O-rings number 12. Let's see what part number those are. 3/32 by inch and 15/16. Let's check the alternate part. 709 240/38. Let's see, I picked out some 9, I think those are it, 941 535. So let's, what did I say that was? 709 240/38. So let's punch in 941 535. Soich. Part number X something. No, that's different. Maybe those aren't it. They do look thinner. Yeah, they're too thin. Wrong ones. Let me try again. We want number 12. What did I say? 3/32. 3/32. I'm trying to see if I have one that big. 3/32. No. Well, I either misplaced them or forgot to get those, but these are definitely not it. Let me demonstrate why it's good to have a set of left-handed drill bits. Boom, baby. Sometimes it'll hook on and spin it right out, but if you're turning right, it hooks on, you're just going to make it tighter. Wow. Well, that's all, folks. I'm quitting. Ooh, some rattle can primer. Definitely gives her a better look. Okay, most of the lines are on, fuel lines for the fender tanks. But now I'll have to have this platform, because on the later ones like this one, it's built in. We'll see that here shortly. The platform is on the other side. It's just the platform bolts onto a brace, a support, a frame piece, whatever you want to call it. But I've got new shock absorbers or vibration dampeners, that's the word, to put on them. And but there's some wet paint, so I'm going to let this dry for now, and hopefully tomorrow I can throw some more time at it. Well, fortunately I had them the 3302, what was that, 5160 I think. And I already had out here 709 235 65. That's definitely the right one for the small end. And I already had out here my gasket, which that is a 702 65561, which tells you these were used on later white tractors, or at least a variation of it that still used the same size seals. I'm not gonna disassemble any more springs than I have to. I looked, there's no seals inside of here. Phillips head there to compress that, so nothing to reseal there. As long as the spring ain't broken, it ain't broken. So I guess I'll finish knocking these fittings off and get her cleaned up. We'll come back. Whew, it's a cold one out there. Been scraping driveways and loading soybeans. Got a little time here before dinner, so thought maybe we'd try to at least get the platform thingies mounted. So what we have is these metal bushings with a plastic bushing, and then some rubber bushings. I got all new ones. Here's the old ones. It's basically a thick one on the bottom, then a thick one, and this one with tread on the top. I got them from oliverhardware.com. That would be, let's see, maybe his info's in here. I also got one of these from him. So we want one of those. Actually, two of those. Got a new dirt valve for the air cleaner. What else did I get? Oh, I think those are mounting bushings for front wheel assist drive shield. Oh, where? Oh, I guess we're just going to use all this style. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 should be 4 sets of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. 1, 2. One more. There it is. Oh, I know what these are for. Mounting the fender tanks. The isolators for those. He has those as well. I'll put his website up. He's got the little rubber feet for them. I should have put them in a better bag. A bolt kit for some of the dash stuff. A breather. Side panel clip. Let's put this back in here. Former Oliver employee, engineer. He's often at the shows. That's where I picked this stuff up. But you can also order from him. Check out his website. It's got all the information. We'll start with the left side because it has a detachable platform piece. It'll be more visible. We'll set it up here slightly out of the way, just where it can fall and smash my fingers. We'll start with this good one. This is the one that was in there anyways. So here's what we have. We'll do the heavy washer, then this, then this. We'll get that in there. Then this goes through here. I said there's a little curl to that, so we got to get this in first, then put the bolt in. There. One more of those and one more of those. Man, need to do the same thing to the front one. But this time, I think I want the bolt to go down because this clip for that cooler line goes through it, and I think it'd be easier to put that on under the nut in case I have to remove it and change something. This one's a little off kilter. Now it's on kilter. So 2 new ones on top. And put the bolt in. The lock washer and nut on the back one here. Well, of course, with the camera off, it goes much better. Let me grab some wrenches. We'll snug her down. These late ones, the frame and the platform piece were built together. Earlier ones, you could remove this platform part off from the frame, bolted on, or I'm sorry, earlier ones, it was welded on, so it made it kind of more of a hassle to work on some of this back stuff. So they changed the design like this. But you're probably not gonna be able to see much of what's going on. So maybe I'll use this footage, and maybe I won't. Big thing is, with this being on here, the bolt has to come up from underneath. There it goes. I'll hold off on tightening this side because I might need to wiggle it a little bit to get the dash holes to line up. Who knows, I might have to loosen the other side back up. I think I'll get a tap and clean these holes or some paint in them. Things in the right spot. Come on, travel rod. Let's see. Yeah, that clutch rod needs to stay up there. It shouldn't fall down. Don't think we'll put too many bolts in until I make sure I've got it in the right spot. And I really should have washed my hands. It's starting to look like something. And I gotta do better on washing the hands now that there's paint. We'll make it good, one way or another. Oh, be careful taking out this pressure in. There's a check ball in it and a spring. They could go flying. And there's a screw-in orifice, but we're not gonna mess with that. We're just looking to seal. Should really be wearing gloves. I know Gary likes to see dirty hands. Greasy, oily hands. Them gloves sure save you a lot of scuffing and scraping. I don't have to explain to the wife why my hands are so beat up. Yeah, now that we've created an adequate mess, let's start going back together. It's probably a no glove thing, getting these O-rings in here. Just got to get in the groove. We'll just turn it around. One down. There. There's my new O-rings. My old ones are still on here. Pick, 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 pick. Picky, picky, picky. Ow. Okay. The O-ring is closer to this. Dual springs. Each one has its own land. And I want to put a little grease on that O-ring. I think I got this right side up from when I took it apart. That went easy enough. Swap this one out. Like so, and like so, and like so. And I need to grease that one. Low battery blues. All right, so you're pretty sure you saw me put the O-rings in the top there, grease them, put the O-rings on these, slid them in. Just recover, going over this in case I don't have the footage. So we are to the point of doping up the gasket. Okay, we lay this down, make sure the round end is down here and the square end of the gasket is here, so it leaves that opening open. And I think we've got the same, yeah. It's directional because of the bolt spacing, so hard to get it wrong, but never say never. Spring loaded, and the O-ring has to go into the housing. So what I'm going to do is this. Yeah, that looks a little crooked. That's better. Try to draw this down evenly so this aluminum cover doesn't decide to give up the ghost. There. In theory, it's resealed. Clean up these fittings a little bit and get them installed. All right, 4 of the right O-rings. Pair an old one just to be safe. Yep. Away with you, old one. Little dab of grease in there to keep the ball in. Definitely want to keep this ball in there and the spring because there, that'll keep it from falling. If you're trying to use the brakes and the tractor ain't running, this will keep the oil from coming out backwards, and so you got some manual brakes. Without that check ball, you're not going to have any kind of braking at all without the hydraulics working. These I won't tighten down all the way until I get it in position or get it mounted, and then make sure the lines line up good, and then I'll tighten down these O-rings with the little nut that's on the bottom here, because I don't remember which way they were pointing. Somewhere around there. They weren't both pointing straight up. I think one was sideways, or I don't know. We'll figure that out when the time comes. Mar up the paint. It'll just be primer at that point. Little paint prep, and then we will throw some primer on it. Get some grease be gone on there. Well, I think I don't have to worry about painting these spools because the brakes only pull them out. The springs always pull them back in, so they're in as far as they're going to go. So I don't have to worry about it dragging paint in, I guess is what I'm saying. get that baby set in there. Got this spacer strap is all it is. So if you've ever wondered what those 2 bolts on the bottom of the dash are for, that's it. Oh, we'll get that tightened down with something or other. I guess I can say I'm quite impressed. Pretty much all these hoses are still available from Agco. And I got this new line that goes something like that. Yeah, something like that. I guess I better cut all those tags and stuff off. Ow, zapped my coat off and must have gave myself a charge. So all these fittings have junctions right at the bottom of the dash. That's kind of nice, because if something's leaking up in the dash, well, you don't have to try to fish it all the way through. You could pull the dash up. So I got the hose connected down here. And now that that's tight, I can tighten up and seat that O-ring. So that should seal. We'll give this one more tweak for good luck. There. I can get these down here tightened up. Most of them are still loose. It helps get everything lined up and screwing together before you start tightening. Maybe before I get that tight, I better get the other fittings or lines on. So in case I have to pull this back out to turn this, I think, oh, it's gonna miss. I'll still do it. Oh, I think I want to get the bottom end hooked up first. I'll get the caps off. The oil might flow better. Put that on there. That's the cooler return line. Oops, missed. No points. With this one being a 74, it's got the larger brake lines. Most of your 55 series had I think a 3/8 brake line instead of this 1/2 inch stuff. There, it started. Well, the rattle can paint seems to be holding up good against the wrenches. That's a good sign. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. No, I haven't tightened that one yet. Tighten that one so that O-ring seals. 11/16. Click. Brake line. See, that one's tight. That one's tight. Oh, 3/4. You were in my hand. There we go. Let's see. That's returned for the power steering. We'll leave that loose for the moment. Where this power steering feed line comes in off the splitter block here. I'm sorry, this is the brake. Brake feed line. Power steering's this one. Brake is this one. Pressure comes into this block, splits. That's all this block does is split. but the brakes and the PTO both run on the same pressure, about 180 PSI. That's enough to do the work for both of them. So tight, 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 tight. I should probably be marking them or something. But tight, 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 tight. I think that's all the brake fittings. That should be all sealed up. We'll get the links hooked back up. Let's put this up here. That's better. I didn't disconnect this one. So that should be pretty straightforward. It's normally has these itty bitty bitty snap rings that are about impossible to get a snap ring plier on, any I've got. So normally I'm not a big fan of E-clips, but we're gonna try it. Well, that was slick. There. I think that will hold. Like so, and like so, and I gotta go grab another E-clip. That seems to be in place. One more. What did I do? There it is. Say I found where I misplaced the pin, so that was good. Brakes are all hooked up other than putting the pedals on. Cool beans. I think we'll call that a installment on this one. Yeah, battery's pretty low too. So thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you in the next one.